Hello, I'm Kiana, and I have this urge to share my spiritual journey, my spiritual beliefs. They're new age, aliens and witchcraft and all those things. And I don't know why. And I'm just going to trust the process, just trust the universe for giving me this inclination and just start talking. I don't really know where this is going. I know I want to make a channel about all of these things, so I'm just going to start talking about what is going on in my head in this journey of awakening. So I bounce back and forth a lot, like time wise. So I'm one of those annoying movies. And I also kind of see things like I see the leaves and the forest and the trees and the earth, and like I'm zooming in and out all the time. So it might sometimes be hard to follow what I'm saying. I'm just gonna try not to be too complicated or take my time. I also pause and stutter a little bit. Not stutter, but well, I think pausing is a type of stuttering. So I pause and I stutter a little bit. I might clarify a little too much. Anyway, I'm an Arcturian, bipolar, witch, Christian, nerd. I have a lot of labels. There's more that I can't think of at this exact second. And I don't mind labels. I'm not against labels. People are like, oh no, I don't like labels. I'm perfectly fine with labels. Labels help me find other people who are going through what I'm going through. They help me identify situations. Just because the label exists doesn't mean you have to stay within the boundaries of that label, of its symptoms, of its definition, of its connotations or assumptions. You can spill outside of that label if you feel like it. It's just a really helpful guide. It's a little arrow that says exit is this way. The arrow is not the exit, but it says the exit is this way. So it just helps me as a label to find where I'm looking for and where I want to go. And I still have the choice whether to follow the arrow or deviate. So that's what I feel about labels. Um, if I try to start at the beginning, I think in my story, the earliest beginning would possibly be my mother, even though she's telling me this when I'm like a young child. In the story, I'm even younger. So she said she was combing my hair one day at about 2 o'clock. Sorry, I was 2 years old, and she was combing my hair, and she said that I told her, "You're my favorite mommy." And she's like, "Girl, I'm your only mommy." And I was like, "No, I had a golden mommy and a golden daddy before you were my mommy, and they sent me here to help you." And you know, I think she said I told her that I loved my golden mommy very much. She was beautiful. And she was really like intrigued. And then she said I also told her I had a little brother, but he came before me and he didn't make it. And she found that kind of eerie because there was, I did have a brother before I was born that nobody knew about, that she didn't tell anybody about. So she found that intriguing that this 2 year old would possibly tap into this possible truth, like reality. Like maybe it's a coincidence that I said it, but she also felt like it's pretty specific and eerie that you knew it was a boy, that you knew they were before you, and then you knew they didn't make it. So um, let that story sit where it is. Me, somewhere around, I don't know, probably 3 or 4, I remember, and I know memories are not perfect, but I remember looking out the window at the stars, um, wanting to see a spaceship, wanting to see like something move. I have one, and I do mean one because if there were, I wanted more. I looked longer. I looked before. I looked after. I remember one moment of something moving in a way that didn't make any sense. That wasn't like a comet. That wasn't like a shooting star. Um, and but then it was like gone, and that's it. Like I couldn't show it to anybody. I couldn't prove it. I couldn't tell anybody. It was a little bitty kid, like I don't know, probably 4 or 3, 4 years old, and there's nothing I can do with that besides feel that I know it's true. Much of what I say, of course, can't be proven because it's in my memory. So there's that. I also have a very deep memory of wanting to go home. And, later in life when I read about starseeds, this is apparently a common trait. However, I'm 3 or 4 and I wanted to go home. And yes, to help with skeptic people, yes, I'm a child of divorce. Yes, this was around the time my parents were divorced. However, I didn't want to go to that home. I didn't want like my parents together because I knew they didn't need to be together, even though I'm like 3. I didn't want to be I was in my home saying I want to go home. And I was aware that I was home, but the welling feeling in my body of wanting to go home, this went on for years, probably till I was like 7, 9, I don't know. Just years of this ache of wanting to go home while being home. Never understanding it, not talking to anyone about it because it was illogical, didn't make any sense. So I never told anybody about it. It was just an ache that I had for myself. Let's see, somewhere around the age of 8, I know this is a very vivid memory for me of sitting like on the bed, realizing and knowing that my purpose, that my God-given purpose on earth was to help heal people's pain, was to take on people's pain. And this revelation has been met with anger from people before, but over the years of my life, I can realize that it was the correct assumption and it has good connotations behind it, and the initial assumption of what that means is not valid because it's not full enough. But yes, my job on earth is to take on people's pain. That sounds like, what a ridiculous thing. You're not supposed to do that. That's not your job. Pause for a minute and walk this whole journey with me. I'm not going to be able to tell this whole journey in one video, but I didn't know words like empath. I didn't know empath or something was a thing. I've never heard of anything like that. I'm like 8. So this was a thought. It was a pure sit down and think about it thought, that kind of like a revelation that came to me. I didn't write it down. I didn't speak it aloud. I didn't talk to anybody about this thought because it's mine. It's my thought. It's my thing. It's who I am. So I decided that my job on earth is to take on people's pain. I grew up in a God and Jesus believing household, but we did not go to church. We did not like sit down and read the Bible. So we're not a very practicing Christian household. I think that's how it would be, right? So we're Christian, but we're not practicing. But we do believe in God and love God. I still have belief in God, but my religion has evolved, which will become a little clearer later in life. I have no disbelief of other religions, really. I believe we're all kind of talking about the same thing from the telephone game. And so I remember there's like an adage in Christianity where God doesn't give you more than you can handle. And somehow my 8-year-old brain decided and understood that pain, that those things, that mental anguish, those insecurities, that information, those sensory issues that other people can't handle, I am one of the beacons on earth to receive it, to channel it. So as I've tried to explain this to myself over the years, one of the thoughts I've had is basically think of it like a lightning rod. And the lightning goes to the lightning rod to sort of concentrate it and keep it from damaging other things in the building and stuff. That is what I am. I am that emotional, sensory, like pain, sort of, not like physical pain, but just like mental pain, lightning rod. And it is my job to take that pain from the people who can't handle it, can't hold on to it. Now, later in life, I have learned the key is not to hold on to it. Because that's the problem. I am the lightning rod. I am supposed to take the pain, but you can't keep it. That's not what you're for. You are a channel. You are not a bowl, okay? It's got to come in and possibly be cleansed and then through and out. So that took probably decades to learn how to do. Didn't even think of that apart as the little 8-year-old that I was. So vaguely misguided, but still correct. You got half the job correct. You didn't read the entire booklet. So little 8-year-old me believes that it's my job to take on people's pain. This doesn't require me to do anything. It doesn't require me to be like actively go seek people's pain. It's just part of who I am. For context, I live in an extremely cold climate, and I could be outside. I could be in a big puffy down coat. I could have fur and a hood and a scarf and sunglasses and ear muffs and mittens and all the things, right? Fully covered, coat down to your ankles, mid shin, and people still walk up to me and are like, "Did you know my cat died?" And I'm like, "Tell me about your cat," because the energy is not logical. It is. It's not so much that I'm not required to listen to anybody's sob story, but I do have a beacon. It's there. It's loud. Those who need it can see it. They just like like predators can see it on the forehead. Who a good victim would be. People who need my energy are drawn to me. Of course, that does also draw not great people to me, but it draws good people to me as well. I have learned how to sense the difference. But what I'm saying is it's like an energy that I can't control. There's almost nothing that I can do about it. The next step in, well, okay, if I'm trying to be chronological, things, just random things that happen in my life. I grew up with a mother who was very loving and open-minded to out of the box thinking. She did tell me that we have some witch-like abilities. We can influence things if we want to, so you have to be careful. So I was taught, whatever you put out comes back threefold, and so you can do negative things to people, but if you do, you're gonna regret it. So never taught the specifics. I don't know how to do hoodoo or any sort of like rituals, but I can make them up on my own. I can. It's really about intention and energy and thought. So I'm a more of an intuitive sort of witch, and occasionally I might use stones or crystals or spellbooks or candles or anything that comes to mind for what it is I'm trying to do. It's a pretty rare occurrence for me to cast a genuine object level spell. I have, and yes, they work for me. Again, can't prove things. So take it with what you want to take it with. But my point was I wasn't stifled. So I had a mom who gave me the mental openness to believe. She's like, if you feel something, if you feel like this person is not right, or you feel like a phone call's about to happen, just trust those feelings before you tap into the world that tells you everything is a lie. Trust first. And so I do that, and it has worked out well for me. Little things, I could feel electricity as a kid. I could feel okay, so we had a television that was broken, and it would come on its own. And so before the TV would come on, there was this surge of electricity. I don't know if this is special power. Who cares? I don't think everything has to be magically mysterious. Things are cross of mystical and literally physiologically sensory. So I could feel the rise in the electricity of the television before it would come on. And I'd be like, the TV is about to come on, and nobody else could feel it. And I just thought that was weird. I was like, I can't be the only one who can sense this. And so I would try to show my grandparents or my mom or my cousins, and it's like, hey, do you feel that the TV's about to come on? They'd be like, I don't feel nothing. I'm just talking about. And then the TV would pop on. So I don't know what this ability is for. It's not like I can walk around sensing electrical things, but I think it is part of this ability for me to have extra sensory perception, not psychic, but extra sensory perception. I have a little highly sensitive person. I have some heightened senses, and I think that's just a piece of that. I have a really strong sense of smell. I have pretty good hearing. We've always had a dog, and my ears perk up kind of the same time the dog's ears perk up. So those are some of the things that I feel show my extrasensoriness. Um, when I was about 18, 19, I think, um, I had a job selling coupon books. I hated it. Anyway, we had to go door to door selling these coupon books, and this is one. This is the second piece. Actually, this is probably the foundational piece that solidifies that I believe what I believe about myself and about the universe. I had a partner. We're both young. We're selling these coupon books on the street. So we're going to businesses. We're walking door to door to businesses trying to get them to buy our coupon books. So you know how you go like a hair salon and yourself and we're like, hey ladies, want some coupons? So we came upon this garage. The garage is full of gentlemen and there's a bunch of people. Like there's a bunch of guys in there. And so to our little money grubby brains, we're like, woo, we're gonna sell a whole lot of coupon books. But they're talking. So the guys are in a vague sort of circle and there's a gentleman in the middle and he's sort of preaching in a way that's just he's just the old head guy who's talking, spreading knowledge religiously and secularly and just spouting knowledge, and the other gentlemen are listening like nodding like yeah, they're listening to him. Me and my own partner are like, oh, let's just stand here and wait for them to shut up so we can sell them these coupon books. So we decided this is too good a hall of humans to pass up. So we stand kind of sort of out to the side, outside of the garage a little bit, waiting for them to finish their sermon or session, mass, commercial, whatever. Just let us know when you're done so you can buy these little books for these pizza coupons or whatever. And the gentleman in the center kind of like parts everybody. He sees me and he calls me over. He comes over to me and he's calling me over at the same time. I'm young. I'm teenager. I haven't been jaded enough to just be like, absolutely not. I'm like confused and timid and like, okay. So I'm like walking over to see what does he want? What does he want to talk about? There's a whole bunch of people there. It's nothing, it can't be bad, right? And so he kind of like brings me back to the circle and like puts his arm around my shoulders and we kind of hunch a little bit. We're not like bent all the way over, we're like hunched a little bit. And he's talking to me. And in my memory, there's a gigantic umbrella over us, which makes no sense, but it's almost like there is a cone or something. It's like this shadow that's making us. Like everybody else, it disappeared in a way. They're there. I feel their silhouettes, but they don't matter. I don't care if they can hear me. I can't tell if they're listening to us. I just don't. I know that there are bodies, but it's like my level of normal human near you acknowledgement leaves in a way. And he starts talking to me about my job. He's like, I know what your job is. I know what you're here to do. And I know it's hard. And I know it's a lot of pain, and you're in a lot of pain, and your mother's in pain, and she's feeling that. He starts talking to me in ways that I have only felt because I have never spoken. I've never spoken to anybody about these particular beliefs about what I'm here to do as a person. And to listen to an absolute stranger just start to speak my thoughts, my 8-year-old thoughts, my tiny child thoughts. He's like, and I know you worry about the world and you cry about what's going on in certain countries and stuff and children starving, and you don't have to do any of those things. But what you are here to do is to hold that pain, but you don't have to keep it. You don't have to worry. I know it's hard. Like basically the summary is, I know what you're here to do, which is to be in pain. I know that's hard. Trust it. Stick it out. Don't worry about it. Don't fight it. You were right. He did say that you were right. That is your job. And like it's gonna be okay. and just stay in faith. Just like, he didn't use the word stay in faith, but basically just keep going, just stay in, like, believe, let it be what it is, and don't try to get rid of it. Don't listen to anyone tell you it's wrong or to fight it. And so I'm crying while he's talking to me because he's saying things that he shouldn't be able to say. He shouldn't know who. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I sincerely believe God sent someone to me that day to help solidify for me what I was feeling, to help ease some of the fear and the pain about it. And to know that even if it is hard and it feels bad, it won't stay that way forever, and then that is part of it. That part of it is for it to feel that way. So that's my story there. I think I'm going to stop right here, and then I'm going to make another video and just keep going through my revelations and my awakening, and where I am. So thanks for listening.